I'll start with what I feel the experiment is about, right?
Great, go ahead.
It's Anita. I'm from New Jersey, and I've been part of this experiment for, I think, the last 2 months now. And it's been unfolding, and I'm getting the feel for it as it goes along. A lot of the terms that were used and things came out recently, and that made it a lot easier to understand for me. And basically what I got from it was the times when I felt low or down, or felt like that I wasn't in that open space, good feeling, were the times when I was looking at something unkindly, either myself or another. And if I could retell a story about that in another way that made it less heavy and less painful, it shifted my mood, and that I was able to then come back to that place of open space of good feeling. And then, so I think that's basically where I've been experimenting with it, is restoring. And also it has helped me find, I think, the courage to acknowledge what I'm doing wrong in situations. And after I see that and hear my acknowledgement of that, it becomes a little clearer for the people that I'm relating with about where I'm coming from. And it also becomes clearer for me because I don't have to struggle so hard to be right and prove somebody else wrong. So that's how it's going for me so far.
That's beautiful, Anita.
Thanks, Anne.
I just want to say to Anita, like, you opened the friendliness channel, right? And now you're applying that to your life.
The friendliness channel?
Yeah, because I was talking about the channels. Like, I was using this metaphor of watching TV. Like, we got these old channels that are about beliefs, and then we got new channels that are about, like, creativity or friendliness or, you know, discovery. And then I'm saying, like, we experiment with using these new channels to transform the old ones.
Yeah.
Is that?
I think what I was talking about was more like close relationships.
Right.
I mean, friendliness to the outside world is a different thing, and what you do with real intimate, like people that are really close to you, is something different. And I feel like much more triggered by people that are really close to me than strangers. So I think it's at a more intimate level that changed. You know, it's more at a deeper level that switch has happened.
Right.
It's easier to hide a lot with strangers, but with people that are really close, it's hard to hide. And so sometimes there's probably an already knowing that comes out through that. You know, that you already know what the other person's thinking, or you already know what I know about the other person. So that kind of, I guess it's about relating. So maybe the channel, if I had to choose a channel, it would be on intimate relationships.
Right.
And that's where the creativity is coming, is the change, or I have more options on how I see another because of the experiment. So whereas before it was like tunnel vision, and I was seeing a person the way I'd already seen them, and there wasn't a broader view. There was no opening for seeing someone beyond what I already knew they were. So I think that's where it's opened up for me. It's like I'm out of a cage. I don't have to see anyone the way I thought they were, or there are no labels. I think the labels come off.
I'll call intimacy a channel for sure, because it's just that we can really be confronted with our beliefs, right? And yeah, you're right. Like, it's easier to hide them when there's more distance, something.
But that's a small shift, I guess. Eventually, I would like to be like that. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be short or irritable with everyone, but I would like to be just as open as I am with family or friends as I am with a stranger. Sometimes I find it easier with a stranger in a strange kind of way.
That's a beautiful intention.
The channel, I guess, would be that then. Relationship, intimacy, kind of being intimate with the self and with everyone else around you, right?
So much inspiration can flow from being intimate. Because it's just like we don't have like the boundaries that are normally there, and we're letting them be less static, I guess, and more dynamic. And then stuff can start flowing, and yeah, that can make it easy to be friendly to ourselves and tell different stories.
In a way, it's funny. What came to me was, in that way, then intimacy becomes freedom, the key to more freedom. It's like, because you're letting go of your judgment and you're becoming lighter. So that's a total opening into more freedom. So in fact, the more triggered you get, the more potential to be free you become. Paradoxically.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just need a little trigger, and if that's enough to loop, then you don't need more, right?
No, and it's true. I mean, it's true. And if you're too triggered, you can't see. You're too much in shock. You can't see the creativity there. So it's not necessarily it's not a shock therapy thing. But, I mean, no, I'm not saying that triggers is a good thing, but
I think because I'm stuck in my story of what the other person is doing and how I want it different from what the other person is doing, and they're stuck in the same way looking at me saying she keeps doing the same thing. But see, I think this is where it becomes kind of painful, is when another reflects you in a negative image, because then what you see about yourself is the negativity in the other, through the other.
Right, they can have that idea, right?
Especially if you don't have a lot of other people, like other people that bolster you, or maybe you don't allow anything else to come in and you aren't very good at bolstering yourself up. Then when the negativity comes at you, it's like you go under again with that, right?
Yeah, it's a lot about boundaries, right? Because that's the hunch I'm getting, I guess. Like, we feel like a need to protect or something. And then, like, in intimacy, it's like these boundaries are actually falling away. So then I could, like, hold on to that story of needing to protect myself from all the negative images or something. Or I could maybe find a more friendly story, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's a negative image, right? That's what I'm thinking about too. It's like someone's making a projection or something, and then they feed that back. So in a way, they are giving a story back to you, right? So if you just say, okay, that story is true, then you're just making that sort of how do you say that? You're just taking it from them, I guess, like on a platter or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that's where other ways to communicate come in, right? Like we could like acknowledge something, or play with that image. Like what can we restore? How can we communicate in different ways? Because otherwise you're just like a victim of like bad images or stories coming, right?
Doesn't it have to do with simply, yeah, like you said, just believing that projection, just believing that judgment, and in a sense, believing it yourself, like realizing the other person telling it to you is an external source of what your inner voice is actually already saying about you. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe it. Or, and the other option was this, is to say, so there's the judgment that you believe, which may be true or may not be true, but there is also, so it's a self-judgment, but then there's also you could say, yeah, I am like that, and so what? Yes, I am clumsy, and so what? Or yes, I am, you know?
That's what taking it lightly would be. Yeah.
And then it goes through you. You notice that if you like that, the person says this to you, and it goes through, and it has no place to stick even with them, because they're left with their own. It just goes nowhere.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just,
I've been on the spot too with like when I felt like attacked or something by a judgment from someone, and I guess that if I feel attacked, I just see like maybe one option or maybe two when I'm lucky. So then maybe it's about slowing down too, right? Because if you just have sort of mutual intention that you're can go a bit slower, then it will be easier to see more options maybe. Because Sometimes it's just feeling of being in danger or something. And if you're gonna react to it very quickly, then you'll stay in the loop probably.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Michel. The feeling in danger, like really threatened, like life-threatening, like what they're saying is. I've had that recently with very specific situation, and it seems very real, because they could take action that will put me in the street or something. So then that becomes very threatening. So that feels very real. And the option in that moment feels there's not actually no option. It's just die. It's true.
Yeah, I guess we all have that a little bit, like, or maybe more even, like with money or something. When we're out of money, or can't pay the rent or something, then the survival thoughts come up. They can be pretty
convincing.
So then, how to restore that? Maybe it's about dependence, right?
Yeah.
Because if you feel you're dependent, then it's like then you have less options. But there's another thing to it too, because say that I don't have money to buy food, and I feel hungry, and I know that I don't have the money. Then maybe I'll feel scared by that, could be. But if I say I'm gonna have a fast, like your purpose, you don't eat much, and then maybe because of that fast, I feel like, wow, I'm really letting go of a lot of toxins, and this is really good. So then I'm just saying, like, that's a narrative, right? So that's what we're experimenting with. And then, like, for you, there's a narrative about, like, maybe I'll have no house. And then maybe there are other options to that too, right?
You were talking about intimate relationships, and I was putting myself in my relationship with somebody who's been very close, and how sometimes it feels like it's getting, no matter how creative I become, there are times when it's oh no, that again and again, and it just doesn't seem to change. So that would be another restoring, to just say, like the wanting that repetition to go away is another story of, well, perhaps, there is expansion there. Even if I'm not seeing it, even if I'm not seeing right now the gift in this very trigger at this moment, that seems like I've rehashed it 1,000 billion times, but somehow the knowing, the restoring, and just knowing, well, there is the key to your freedom there. It's just is helpful, at least for me, would be perhaps something that would help me.
I suppose I guess that's where your choice comes in, is you really can't change the other. It's going to be only the way you replay that, or the same situation, and that situation is going to keep repeating itself till you step out of the loop, I think.
You're saying, like, the story can repeat itself?
Yeah, the situation can repeat itself.
Situation.
And
right.
Two people can be in the same dance where they keep doing the same steps till one decides, okay, I'm not going to do the step again. I'm going to move away, or I'm going to do another move which is different, right?
Right. And then like the other can choose, am I gonna join the dance or am I
or I'm going
moving?
or they then have an option to do something different too, because
Yeah.
you're no longer in the loop of repetition.